We wish to speak today on manifestation and the law of attraction. Many on the planet today are stuck in the mindset of lack and limitation. Throughout their lives they are taught money doesn't grow on trees, we're not made of money, we've had to struggle and fight for everything we have, and you have to work hard to get what you want in life. They witness influential people in their lives modeling these ideas in their behaviors, and thus it appears to be the way things really work. However, the belief in lack and limitation of any kind is nothing more than false programming, and the time for that mindset is past. For many years now, numerous sources have spoken about the law of attraction. What was first shared mostly in esoteric spiritual circles has broadened into the mainstream through movies like The Secret and prominent channels such as Esther Hicks. Others teach about the power of a positive mental attitude, citing studies that show how visualizing a certain desired outcome before acting leads to improved results. And athletic coaches often speak about how the mental game is as important as the physical game. These practices have been spoken of so frequently in recent decades that it would be hard to find someone without at least some understanding of the power of intention. And yet, so many still do not recognize that it is law, meaning that it works 100% of the time. Why? Because of the limiting beliefs humanity must contend with every day. These beliefs drive your thoughts, and these thoughts also create your reality, whether you want it or not. Yes, every single thought, and thus every single word and action creates your reality every moment of every day. The physical mind is a creative thought machine that produces everything you see and experience. Therefore, any beliefs such as, money doesn't come easily, and I've had to struggle for everything I receive, create that experience in your life. Most of humanity is living through the belief in struggle and lack a large part of the time. That's why you receive mixed results when you start to practice intentional manifestation. Most spend only a small fraction of their waking hours intentionally creating through their thoughts, and the rest of the time either on autopilot or navigating around people and circumstances who expect struggle. For example, many go to jobs that involve directing thought to achieve an outcome, whether it's a business presentation, a piece of software, a meal, a lesson plan, a book, or a home improvement project. You visualize the end result before you set to work, and you keep the vision in mind as you exercise your labor and other resources to achieve the result. However, the ease with which you get there has everything to do with the programming in your physical mind about how easy or difficult it must be. Most people encounter narratives at work that say achieving great results requires struggle, or that financial resources are scarce, or that time is scarce, or that conflict is inevitable. It's challenging to operate in such an environment and not have it influence your own expectations. Coupled with this ever-present paradigm of lack and struggle is the constant flow of messages from the media and entertainment industries that suggest you are somehow not enough. Humanity constantly receives both obvious and subtle messages that you don't have the right car, house, career, shoes, lifestyle, body type, life experiences, or amount of money. This steady stream of programming plays alongside your conscious application of the law of attraction, reinforcing a story that works against your efforts to consciously manifest. Is it a surprise, then, that you don't easily get the results you want? Say you want a new car. It's great if you spend 5 minutes a day focusing on creating it. That's better than nothing at all. And if you spend the rest of your waking hours in a state of complete joy and allowance, that 5 minutes would be enough. But if you instead spend the rest of your time running the programs that life is hard, that you must struggle to succeed, or that you don't know how you're going to achieve that car because you don't make enough money, well then you're just not going to manifest the car. You must shift the balance of the programs you're running. You must choose programs that reinforce the knowing that you are a magnificent, divine, creative being, much bigger than your physical mind. This is key. As we have said many times, you are part and parcel of all that is. You are all that God has to offer, and thus you are divine abundance in action in the physical plane, but you must believe this for it to work in your favor. This is the puzzle, the divine paradox of the human experience. You are so vast, and yet you experience a world that constantly tells you how small you are. When you're not in the physical body, you have absolute knowing that you're always one with God, and thus with the attributes that you ascribe to God, all-knowing, all-capable, and all-loving. You are the greatest capacity for and expression of divine love that humanity can conceive of, and far greater still. This divine love is the very energy of creation, the source and substance of everything in your physical world. But you intentionally forget this upon taking the physical form, and although there are many teachers on the planet to help you remember, you struggle to fully comprehend it in the face of the other programming that exists in your world. If you choose to run only the programming of limitation and lack, then you're pinching off from all this tremendous creative potential that literally gives birth to galaxies. Think of how big that is. Why would you assume anything less for your life? Yes, it's difficult when everybody else is running programs of struggle and scarcity, and your society has been built on these programs, but that's the Earth game. Your challenge is to find your way back to complete understanding that you are not any of that limited stuff. As we mentioned recently in another message, the Earth experience can be thought of like a board game. You can play a board game and get completely immersed in the made-up reality of it, with all of its rules and objectives and behaviors. But then you can just put the game aside and say, that was fun, we're done now, so let's choose something else to capture our attention. The Earth game is like that. It's a very immersive game with all sorts of rules, objectives, and behaviors you've agreed to. Billions of people are playing along, and it goes on for several decades for most of you. But you have the ability to pull back from this apparent reality at any time. You simply must raise your consciousness up and recognize it for what it is. In today's world, that may mean giving up certain things you've grown accustomed to, such as your attention to the media or popular entertainment. Try it for a few days. Just take back all the attention you've given up and spend as much time as you possibly can cultivating your awareness that you are not just a physical body acting like a game piece on a playing board. Spend more time meditating, reading inspirational content, being in nature, or just being alone. In this way, you create space and intent for a personal shift that allows you to open to a much greater reality. Once you begin to embody the knowing that you are a powerful creative force with the potential to literally create worlds, the physical stuff you want to create in your life becomes so much easier. A new car? Easy. A new job? Done. More money? Absolutely. There are people on the planet who can manifest instantly because they have elevated their consciousness to the point where they are always connected to their magnificent creative ability. They fully embody what the many masters teach, such as Jesus when he said, "All these things I have done you will also do, and greater things you will do." There is no duality for such elevated ones. Yes, they are still in the physical body. Yes, they use the physical mind to make choices and to interact with other people, but alongside that they have the constant, unshakable knowing of their divine magnificence. This is the elimination of duality, the lifting of the veil so completely that instant manifestation is possible. Now, most people have family, work, and other responsibilities, so they can't sit and meditate all day. But it is also a misbelief that reaching a high level of awakening requires holing up in a cave in India for many years. In fact, any belief that says it has to be done a particular way and take a particular amount of time is limiting the unlimited. There has never been a better time on this planet than right now to put this to the test. The energy bathing the planet right now is one of so much divine love and creative potential that you can tap into it easily and manifest much more quickly than you could in past times. Yes, you still have to put forth the effort to shift your perspective away from the negative programming that tells you you're not enough. But the deck is truly stacked in humanity's favor at this time. Believe this, and use it to your advantage any time you seek to complete a task, and any time you endeavor to create something in your life that is not yet physically visible. Whether it's an object, money, more free time, or more fulfilling relationships, you can manifest it all more easily now than you could just a few years ago. So use what is available to you now. Create as much time in your day as you possibly can to replace the negative programming that you are not enough with the belief in your own amazing powers of creation, and trust that the universe has stacked the deck in your favor. When you do, it is our absolute promise that you will begin to anchor that belief and trust into the very cellular structure of your body and mind. Your cells then become even greater receivers of the divine abundance that is constantly available to you, guiding you toward the synchronicities that will be instrumental in your manifestations. As we've said before, your cells are like antennae receiving the broadcast of spirit, but they will only receive that which your current vibrational frequency will allow you to receive. You must put forth the initial effort to increase your vibration so you can be more open to receiving greater awareness of divine truth. But once you have energetic momentum, these truths will begin to reveal themselves to you with no extra effort on your part. It's much like a flywheel. You need an initial force to set the flywheel spinning, but once it has momentum, its natural state is to stay in motion, and thus its energy can be used to drive other processes. As above, so below. So get that momentum going. Turn away from any activity or narrative that leaves you feeling like you are not enough, or that leaves you feeling fearful in any way. Turn toward those people, stories, activities, and beliefs that make you feel great joy. For when you feel joy, you are aligned with divine love, the creative power of the universe. Get it going, allow it to keep it flowing, and watch as you suddenly experience new insights about who you really are and what is possible for you. You may wake up one morning with much more clarity than you went to bed with the night before. Or you may be engaged in any normal activity and suddenly be struck with the awareness of how magnificent you really are. Just open the door of your higher consciousness a little bit, and the universe will push it from the other side. That's what we mean when we say the deck is stacked in your favor. There's so much potential positive energy pushing on the other side of that door all the time. But you have to take the first step to open it, and then remain in a vibration of allowance. Please prioritize this. It is so important to humanity right now. Take a good look at what is reinforcing the old programming in your life. Anything that keeps you gravitating toward fear and its many components, such as greed, anger, jealousy, judgment, resentment, worry, competition, and despair. You may find that the people you're engaged with and the things you do and discuss together are reinforcing fear in your life, so pull back from that. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to end the relationship, but state your desire and intent to engage around love rather than fear. And if others don't want to go there with you, give them the space to follow their own path while consciously choosing a different one for yourself. Pay close attention to what you watch and listen to as well. If you don't find yourself feeling more joyful and loving in the watching or hearing of it, if it's not reinforcing your belief in how magnificent and creative you are, if it's only showing you images of limitation, darkness, and struggle, or if it's showing you that you are somehow not enough, simply stop it, unplug, take control of what you allow in, and thus take more control of what you manifest outwardly. And take control of what you do with your free time. Many are in the habit of seeking one peak experience after the next in an effort to validate your lives. Peak experiences are great, but they can become an addiction like anything else. If you find yourself feeling unfulfilled, you have moved into a vibration of fear, so pull back and take control. Spend your free time reinforcing the belief in your own magnificence. You can do this with a simple mantra such as, I am divine love, I am divine compassion, I am divine forgiveness, I am divine abundance, I am divine joy, I am divine fulfillment. If you do this for a few minutes several times a day, it will start to take root in your consciousness, and eventually it will play in the background constantly. When you speak or think these words with focus and intent, they have the effect of putting you in the vibration of spirit, and thus you crack the door open so everything spirit is pushing to you from the other side can flow in more easily. Believe in your ability and trust in spirit. Take these simple first steps and the next ones will reveal themselves. And before long, you will literally feel your consciousness shift from a belief in lack to positive expectation, and you will start to see your desires manifest with greater ease and joy. So get cracking! We wish you blessings on your journey.